After 9 years of this NDP Liberal Prime Minister, Canadians are worse off. The effects of his deficits, his inflation, and his carbon tax hikes have been devastating. A new report by the Angus Reid Institute says that a majority of Canadians are struggling just to be able to buy food. And of course, that's even worse for low-income households, with 2/3 of those Canadians saying they can't even afford to feed their families. Yeah. One way to lower food prices would be to axe the carbon tax on the farmer who grows the food, the trucker who ships the food, and the grocer who sells the food. The Prime Minister could do that today. Yeah. Will he show some compassion, lower food prices, and just axe the tax?
The Honourable Minister for Natural Resources and Energy.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Every day we see the Conservatives get up in this House and tell mistruths. 8 out of 10 Canadian families get more money back than they pay in the price on pollution. Of course, it is no surprise when you hear what their closest friends and allies have to say. Danielle Smith believes planes are spraying chemtrails. Jess Crosby says climate change is bogus. And John Rustad says fighting climate change is a plot to reduce the human population and force people to eat bugs. Mr. Speaker, they say you can tell a lot about people from the company they keep. Well, Mr. Speaker, you certainly can.
What the heck was that?
Although the Honourable Minister did not make reference to a particular member, I encourage all members, please, to skate further away from the line, especially in regards to using that word. The Honourable Member from Regina Capel.
Obviously, the carbon tax scheme isn't making Canadians better off. Otherwise, 2/3 of low-income Canadians wouldn't be reporting that they can't afford to pay for groceries, and they wouldn't be lining up at food banks or waiting hours to get rejected potatoes. The Parliamentary Budget Officer, the government's own watchdog, has concluded that when you factor in all the costs of the carbon tax, and remember, Canadians don't get to pick and choose which costs they pay, when you factor it all in, after they're done quadrupling the carbon tax, a family in Ontario will be $1,400 poorer. New Brunswick, $1,000 poorer. Saskatchewan, $2,000 poorer. So why not let the people decide in a carbon tax election?
The Honourable Minister for Natural Resources and Energy.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Look, the Parliamentary Budget Officer and 300 economists across this country have said that 8 out of 10 Canadian families get more money back, and it works directly inverse to income. By taking away the price on pollution, you will actually make the most vulnerable more vulnerable. The Leader of the Opposition and his caucus know that, but certainly...
The Chair is having some difficulty hearing the answer of the Honourable Member. I'm going to ask the Honourable Minister to start from the top. I'm going to ask all members, please, I'm going to ask the Honourable Member from Foothills, please, to not speak when not recognized by the Chair. The Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. But we know that the Conservative Party of Canada actually doesn't believe in the reality of climate change, nor do they have a plan for the economic future. They are no different from Mr. Rustad, who has endorsed the Leader of the Opposition, who says we should not be trying to fight climate change. The narrative about climate I can only put to the fact that somehow they think we need to reduce the world population. And many other candidates have essentially said we do not need to fight climate change. Well, Canadians know that climate change is real. Canadians know you need a plan for the future of the economy, and that is what is on this side of the House. Shame on you.
Order.
Make him retract. Come on.
I can take some slings and arrows, but I'm certain the Honourable Member wasn't referring to the Speaker. The Honourable Member from Dauphin, Swan River, Neepawa.
Mr. Speaker, after 9 years of NDP Liberals, taxes are up, costs are up, crime is up, and time is up.
That's right.
I recently visited a local food bank in Dauphin, Manitoba, where the volunteers told me they can't keep up with the increased demand. But this Prime Minister does not care, as he plans to quadruple the carbon tax and force Manitoba families to pay $1,300 in carbon taxes every single year. Manitobans can't afford this costly carbon tax. So when will the Prime Minister give Canadians a choice and call a carbon tax election?
The Honourable Minister for Families, Children and Social Development.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I recently had the opportunity to be in Manitoba and to speak with some parents about what they're facing there. I had the opportunity to announce alongside the Deputy Prime Minister that we've come to an agreement on our national school food program that will see this school year, Mr. Speaker, over 19,000 more children receive food at school, over a $17 million commitment over 3 years. That's what we do on this side of the House to ensure that families are supported, Mr. Speaker.